Hello, everybody, and welcome to Bright Founders Talk at tamy. Tamy is an international software development company that designs, builds, and delivers software for sustainable businesses and promising startups. Welcome to our podcast, where we bring you the most inspiring stories of entrepreneurs and experts in the software development industry. And each week, we interview successful leaders who share their unique journeys and valuable insights. My name is Barry, and today I'm lucky enough to be joined by Athanase Kollias, who is CEO at KINVENT. Hello, Athanase. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello there, Barry. Nice of you to have me here. Very happy.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Absolutely our pleasure. Just can you tell us a little bit about yourself and the company that you work at first?
So actually, I'm Ethan, and nice to meet you. 7 years at KINVENT. I founded the company 7 years ago in 2017. For those that are going to listen to the podcast in the next years. So today we are 2024. I have a background in sports. I did 10 years of competition sports. I was an engineering student at the same time. So during my 10 years, actually, on rowing and rugby, I spent more time with my physical therapist than with anyone else. I have to say that after 3 sessions, I just stopped and went home because I thought that physical therapy seemed to me very subjective. Okay, and I'm an engineer. I love curves. I love when I see the progress, and I didn't see it there. Okay, so it was frustrating not only for me, but also for my therapist. So behind KINVENT, the objective is to help sports and rehab professionals assess progress while building patient engagement. Does that make sense, Barry?
Oh, absolutely. I love it. And were you always drawn to sport and engineering, of course? Or was it something that you just happened to stumble upon in your journey?
Well, no, it's, since my age of 2, I play with my dad's screwdrivers in his biomechanics lab. So he didn't have any budget to build stuff. So he built his own tools to assess performance because he was in physical education. And so I know that when I was 2 or 3 years old, I was used as a dead weight, let's say. Oh, I made some force plates. Let's see if they work fine. I'm going to put my son on them. I know he weighs like 15.2 kilograms. Let's see if the force plate works the same. And did it work? So, I was in this ecosystem since my birth. So at the end, it's ideas that come into mind and how we can change the world. So today we work with about 16,000 physios, about 4,000 new patients a week in our system. So I believe we have a quite good impact in health, and we want to make that impact even bigger. Our objective in the next 4 years is to have about 4 to 5 million patients in our database and about 100,000 physical therapists. That's a big part.
Yeah, they're pretty impressive stats, aren't they? You have been very successful. You've been very busy. Can you just elucidate a little bit more about how your company came into existence?
Yes. So my first experience was in the industry. Okay, so when I finished my engineering studies, I want to work as a biomechanist, as an engineer at Michelin. Don't know if you know the company, you know the tires?
Sure.
Then some part also in the construction. And then pretty soon I wanted to launch my own company. So I launched KINVENT. And the objective was always to work on the human body. The human body is one of the greatest inventions of all times. Something very, very complicated, unique, and that can adapt itself to all conditions. Okay, so when there is an injury, we will compensate. When we start training, we use ourselves into something heavy. So human body is great. And I really wanted to investigate that. So that's why biomechanics, and that's why KINVENT afterwards. And then, the question to KINVENT was, okay, towards which direction are we going to do it? Are we going towards athletics, help performance with athletes, or are we going to do it for health? And you know what? Let's think of 2 scenarios. On one side, you have Rafael Varane. By the way, Rafael is an investor. Rafael is, defense player in Manchester United. He was playing also for the French national team. Rafael Varane had a meniscus, right? So we could help Rafael Varane, for example, get back to the field a bit earlier. So if that happens, Manchester United will win more games, right? So that's a good impact already for all the fans. Now let's think of Grandma Michelle. And Grandma Michelle, she has osteoarthritis on her knee, so she can't walk. So if she gets a surgery and she has a prosthetic knee, and then she does a good rehabilitation, she will be able to walk. So the impact is much bigger on Michelle's life. Does it make sense?
Yeah,
so that's why we actually went towards physical therapy, towards also prevention. And that's why today 90% of the activity of KINVENT is on health.
Given the complexity of the human body, isn't it more surprising that we don't get ill more often, that things don't go wrong more often? It seems like the body's trying its hardest to keep on top shape.
It's trying its hardest. We have to help it too. I mean, it's important to be in continuous movement, exercising, not sitting that much, eating well, sleeping well. Okay, all those things are important, but sometimes things happen. Okay, sometimes, we grow older and older, so our joints are not made for that. Okay, we play soccer, we play rugby, we run to catch the bus, and sometimes all those things are abnormal for our body. And, sometimes it will just react, or it won't react the right way. So we're going to have an ACL tear, or we're going to have a rotator cuff tendinopathy. And in those cases, you have to see a practitioner. You have to see a professional. You must not allow yourself to just say, I'm going to download the app and I will have an exercising program. I will do it myself. That doesn't work. You have to see a practitioner. So those practitioners, they know how the human body works, and they know how to adopt the therapies to every patient, because every patient is unique.
It's really interesting that you say that. I think health is one of those topics that is really important and interesting for us all. In terms of starting up this company, did you have to do any networking? Was it something that you did by yourself, or how did that start?
It started by itself. I will give you a very nice example. We started the company in April 2017. Okay, that's about that. And then we did our first expo to showcase our products on October, same year. In November, I got a phone call from the Montpellier rugby team. Back at the time, they were in their tops. They were in the first 5 teams of the tournament. 2 years ago, they won the cup. This year, it's a bit more difficult, but I think they're going to go through it. That's okay. But I got a phone call from the physical therapist of the team. I didn't know the guy, and he got my name, my number into this expo. So the guy called me and said, listen, we are the rugby team of Montpellier. We want to have some measurement equipment to follow up performance of our guys, and we think you could be a good fit. That's how our first conversation started. And 1 month later, we had the Soccer Federation coming in. Then it was Neymar's physical therapist. Then it was, so it's starting flowing in because we have a good product. It really has a market fit. So it is there. And in competition sports, word of mouth goes fast, really fast. And if the market fit is there, budget is not an issue. So it can go pretty fast. So that's one. But that's for the customer side. Okay. Then there is a big network to do on the supplier side too. Okay. And the good thing is we are most of us engineers in this company. So we know people in engineering. So we can find those suppliers that can do the job. And then the third part is all the rest of the entrepreneurial ecosystem, like fundraisings, funds, banks, the mayor, the president, all those areas where you really need to build your network. And this is something you have to chase. Okay. And you chase it with lots of different ways. For example, yours is one. Being in this podcast, people will listen to this podcast. Okay.
Absolutely.
Another is the press. Another is social media. But anyhow, you have to be present out there and you have to knock on doors.
Sounds like you were already in demand before you even started.
Well, that's what the market fit is about.
So apart from that, what other tech trends are currently catching your attention within the industry?
So first of all, we are talking about non-invasive stuff. The technology has to become less and less invasive. It's like you don't wear it. Like you forget it's there. Okay. Smartwatches go that direction, for example. Okay. But smart clothing is also very interesting. And then it's about small hints that you can put in place to make things better in your exercising. For example, computer vision for exercising. This is a great technology that comes in and we would like to be a part of. And then technologies can be available, but then you have to adopt them to make a product that is easy to use. Very, very, very easy to use. in terms of customer experience, and at the end, something validated. We are in the medical sector, and as a medical device, we owe ourselves to make good products. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Goes without saying, doesn't it, really? So in terms of this, what kind of feedback are you getting from like stakeholders, from customers? And is that feedback what you expected?
I'm a very biased person to respond to this, because I would say that our customers love it. Okay.
If they love it, they love it, right?
Yeah. I mean, there are 16,000 of them out there, so they love it. That's for sure. Anyhow, that's the feedback that I get. But what's also good about this sector is that the people we work with have a very good level of education. Okay, physical therapists, coaches, they've seen their stuff. And so that allows them also to be creative and to give us even more feedback on how to make the system better. Make sense?
Absolutely. So you've got some of the most talented people out there in the business. You've got excellent feedback from customers. What can you do to improve? Can you improve?
Having an open ear. That's the key. Keep in touch with customers. Keep in touch with your sales teams that are out there. Keep in touch with the marketing. Having an open ear, because it's the best way to make a better product. And the good product is the one that takes you in the long term. It's not marketing, it's not sales, it's a good product. Okay. And then once you have a good product, the key is deployment and excellence in operations. But first of all, it starts with a good product.
And in terms of the market, do you have any competitors out there? And if you do have a lot of competitors, how are you different from them?
We don't have enough. That is a problem we have. You
sound disappointed.
No, really.
You're dominating the market. Yeah?
I will explain why. The kind of technologies that we deploy are new. So those are new methods for our customers. Okay, which means that we have to educate them, to teach how to use it. Okay, and we are not enough of us out there to do it. So we're like 4 or 5 companies in the world. That's it. So I don't see ourselves as competitors of others. I hope they don't do too. But the objective here is to change the way physios, coaches work, and actually to empower them with data and biofeedback. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. You seem to kind of break the rules of like CEOs. Like, you want competition, you want more competition out there. It's a very unique and ethical perspective that you come from. Is this something that's always been ingrained in you?
The only relationships that really worth are the long-term ones. And when you want to build trust, you can only do it by trusting people, by yourself, starting with trusting people. Okay. Also, we are in the health market, which means that we accompany people into their journey towards health. So this is something that has to reflect in all of aspects of KINVENT. Okay. So when I'm talking about competition, when I'm talking about old methods in physical therapy, they all start with trust. We are not here to teach physios how to do their jobs. We are here to empower them and to help them do it better. Is it us or is it another company that does technology stuff? Who cares? I mean, at the end, the market is so big, there is place for everyone. It's just that designers like us can make this market happen. Otherwise, it's in an existing market. Doesn't make sense? I mean, in a sense that 30 years, 40 years ago, no one had a cell phone. And eventually now everyone has. It's something that you can't live without. But this market is here today because some people made cell phones. And they made them better and better and better. Okay. So that's the story. And also, final part, there's a particularity at KINVENT. The CEO is also the CTO. So I'm an engineer myself. I'm not a salesperson. I'm not a marketing guy. Okay. So for me, that's why I'm saying the good thing is a good product. This is where it all starts.
Well, perhaps you should work in marketing because you're doing very well today. You're making that product very, very appealing.
Thank you.
How do you measure success?
That's a subjective question. And I'm an engineer. I love it when it is objective. How do you measure success? You have to put a KPI behind it. You could imagine a lot because success could be in various sectors. Success is, am I famous? Do I have a lot of followers? Do people listen to me? That could be one. Another could be, do I make lots of revenues? Another could be, is my company very, very or not profitable? Another one could be, did I realize my dreams? And you know what? If this last one is not true, you won't succeed in all the others. That's for sure. I mean, if you don't do something that you like, at the end, it's sure that you won't succeed. I don't know very lot of people that do stuff that they don't like and that they succeed in all the other sectors. So it has to be some kind of a multiple KPIs, if you want, that show that kind of success. Okay, so I just gave you some, but the one that you have to keep in mind is do something that you love so that you won't work again.
Do you see your work as work?
Well, we don't only do stuff that we love. You know, when you are in this position, sometimes you have hard days. And on the top, you are alone a lot of times. Sometimes you don't find the right people for the company. Sometimes you don't hire the right people for the company and you find out afterwards. Sometimes the market doesn't respond as you would have expected. Sometimes you build a product that doesn't have a market fit. Or sometimes people can let you down, but also the opposite. People can surprise you in a very good way. So it's not every day fun, but lots of days are. So in order to keep up the balance between all of them, you have to have a port, a haven. Okay, so family can be a good haven, so that's important to keep that in mind. You must have always a haven. My haven is my 3 kids and my wife.
Can't be beaten.
Yeah, 5, 4, and 2 years old.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
A successful family man and also a successful businessman. You're kind of hitting all the targets for life, aren't you?
No, you can't say that. I mean, you know, as soon as generally you don't have just one target, you have multiple ones. And the thing is that as soon as you hit one, then the second one, then new targets appear.
Well, that's why
that's
you
a nice challenge,
right?
That's a nice challenge. And that's why I'm saying, what is your dream? So if first your dream is to have a nice family and then to also build your own company, but sometimes you can't do both on the same time. Sometimes you can. But first of all, you have to know what you are aiming for. There is no right wind if you don't know where you want to go.
Lovely way to end that particular topic. So let's move on to another one, because I'm really curious about how you keep up to date with the current trends. Like it's a really quick and advancing field, and I'm sure like you have to keep running just to keep pace. How do you manage to keep on top of all these changes?
First of all, build a strong network, because the network is your ears in the market. They bring you a lot of feedback. Okay. Second, keep in touch with your customers. Keep in touch with your customers. That is important. Third, make revenues, because the revenues is the only way of financing your R&D, and put people into R&D. Do R&D. It makes the world a better place. So you have to keep up and keep an open ear for how do you call that? Light signals. You know, signals far away that you have to be aware of, because eventually they become strong. And when they become strong, you have to be prepared.
Is it easy to see which light signals are going to become popular?
That's the pif, as we say in French. It's a pif. You can smell it.
So it's like a sixth sense for you.
You can say that, but you know, what I always say to my teams is listen to your gut, because it's rarely wrong, your gut. But the gut feeling, when it's there is for sure a reason. It's called the gut because you don't know what the reason is. There is always a reason. So find out the reason, because there is something going on. Okay. For example, you feel that the market has a huge potential. Go look why. Why do you think that? Find something that is tangible so that your gut becomes reality afterwards. So listen to your gut feeling too.
So it sounds like your gut is really good and really effective at predicting
Not always.
the future. Well, what is your gut telling you about the future? Do you see lots of success, or do you see lots of challenges? Or maybe
what I see is that our market is booming. So there is a huge potential out there. Huge. There is a huge potential. Patients are more and more aware of data. They want to have fun, even if they are patients. and that's normal. Physios are more and more aware about those new technologies. So I believe there is a big thing to do out there. So I'm pretty optimistic for the future.
Okay, so coming back a little bit from the future, let's concentrate on now. So what kind of like focal points or ongoing projects or endeavors are you currently undertaking at the moment?
So, well, I don't know if you've heard, but we did a very big fundraising in January. It was 16 million euros total. And our objective is to conquer the North American market once. So that is, let's say, geographical expansion. And then there is to integrate new technologies and to be even more active into education. Okay, the best way of helping professionals to implement technologies is to teach them how to do it. You have to be there from the start. Education is one. And then it's keeping up with new technologies. So machine learning is one. And some new sensors that come into the system.
So I've been looking through your LinkedIn profile and I've seen one of the responses to one of your recent seminars as jaw-dropping. And I've seen the photo. I've seen the photo as evidence. Is that something that you can tell us a little bit about?
Yeah, so this was a congress, this one. It was in Spain, a big congress of performance and health in high-level sports, mostly in soccer. And it was fun because it was Joe, my salesperson, that was doing the demo. And the truth is that you had a person there that was with an open mouth because they loved the system. Was, you can do this and that and that. Wow, that's amazing. This is what we call a market fit. Joe dropping solutions, market fit.
It's one of the few ones which isn't actually exaggerating what's in the picture, because in the picture you can actually see there's jaws dropping. That's what makes it so curious. You're a very positive and like very charismatic person. How do you navigate challenges? You mentioned your family is one of them, but how do you... It's easy when times are good, right? To sit sail and just relax. But what about when times are really hard? Have you always got that?
Yeah, keep a North Star. What is your objective? That's the one thing. And if you see that you are very, very far from your objective, let's see why. Because sometimes the problems, when a problem arises, it's a problem that is a short-term. It's a short-term problem. Generally, problems are short-term stuff. Okay. And they can disturb your mind and your thoughts. But they are just short-term stuff. So you have to keep up with a big vision. And once this is already there and you had the vision, short-term stuff are not so disappointing. Okay. And you just find solutions for those. That's it. So it's not about charisma. It's not about charisma. It's about being optimistic and trusting in people at the end. If you trust people, people will trust you back.
Navigating like communication skills and networking skills, like how do you navigate the challenges of working towards like a common goal, especially if you have people with different or conflicting ideas?
What is cool about KINVENT is that you have lots and lots and lots of different people. You have we are 80 people in the company. We have about 13 nationalities. Wow. We have then different jobs: engineers, salespeople, marketing people, assembly, logistics, administration, finance, all of them coming from different worlds. That means that they speak their own language. And I'm not talking about English, French, and Greek. It's about their own job language, their own terminology. So the biggest challenge that someone has in those kinds of structures is to give to everyone a common ground and a common dictionary. Okay? And once you do that, everything flows. It's all about teams being able to talk between each other and to understand each other. Once you do that, it just works. Because if you do that, people from different kinds of mindsets give a lot of wealth to the company. Diversity is wealth. You see what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's how you can only do great stuff.
I think it's fair to say you've been a very successful entrepreneur. What advice would you give to other people who may be just starting, lessons that you've learned that you wish someone had told you about before you had started?
Sell first, regret later.
You say that with such confidence.
I mean,
is it really that simple?
I say this because I'm an engineer. Because I'm an engineer, and as an engineer, normally we don't do sales. We don't know how to do that. But my first advice to someone that does tech, generally we are all engineers. That's how we start. Sell first, regret later.
Simple as that, right?
Yeah, I mean, go for it. Go see prospects. Knock on doors. Make phone calls. That's the only way, first of all, of being sure that you have a market fit. Because the best way to have a market fit is to have people ready to pay money to get your product. And the second is, it's the only way of being sure that your product works. And the product is never perfect. Never. It can always be perfectible. The other thing is, the best criticism you can get comes from your potential customer. That's the best criticism you can get. And people are always positive. Generally, people are positive. If you go there and you have a smile and you are proud of what you do, people will always help you. Always. Well, at least 95% of the cases. And that's important, to have trust in people. They will always help you. That was my case.
Gold. What a wonderful way to end this, with a nice, powerful, positive message. Athanase, I just want to thank you again for talking with us today. It's been an absolute pleasure talking with you.
Thanks, Barry. For me, it's a pleasure too. Thanks a lot.
You're very welcome. That was Athanase Kollias, co-founder at KINVENT.